Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is Wednesday. Oh, wow. It is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. My name is Sean P. Neal, and I am absolutely thrilled that you decided to join me for a 30-minute share session on what self-limiting beliefs you have overcome. The point of these rooms is to get people together and to start talking about things that can help us all benefit, things that we can all learn and grow from. So if you aren't aware, the little red dots up there mean that we are recording this and we are broadcasting this live on Facebook and LinkedIn. Oh my gosh. So we're everywhere today. I would love to have you up to the stage. Here are the rules. If you would like to join me on the stage here in Clubhouse, please make sure you raise your hand. When you raise your hand, make sure you have something in your profile. That way I can tell that you are a real human being. And it can be anything. You can say, I'm new to Clubhouse. I don't care. Just make sure you have something in there and we'll get you up to the stage. And again, today, this is not about me. This is about you sharing valuable information to help other people in their journey. So as we say that, finally, I wanted to say that you are in the What It Takes to Run a $1 Million Biz Club here on Clubhouse. Thanks to Kate and Dan for making this club possible. They are here to inspire entrepreneurs all over the world, and we have great moderators who run rooms just like this to do exactly that. And last but not least, if you find some value in this room, please click the plus sign at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And that will be the way you can tap on your friends' faces and invite them in here with you as well. All right, so I'm going to get started here and say thank you so much for joining me today. And right off the bat, we have got someone that would like to come up to the stage and contribute a little bit here to this conversation. So we'll see if we can get Yara up here. And in the meantime, I want you to get thinking about this. Start thinking about some of the self-limiting beliefs you have had throughout your life and what you have done to overcome those. Good morning or good afternoon or even good evening, Yara. Thanks for joining me.
Morning, Sean. Thank you for having me. I saw the title of this. I get in here and learn and think as much as I can. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You are welcome. Please share with us. I would love to hear just something that you have in your life as you think about things. What have you overcome? What is a self-limiting belief that you had to struggle with?
And I think a lot of people can relate to this one, and it would be like money limiting beliefs have been like a constant in my life because I grew up with very frugal parents. We have money, we can't afford it, we can't do this, we can't do that. It is a belief that I carried many years, even years where I made a lot of money.
Yes.
I would even say things like, it doesn't matter how much money you make, the more you make, the more you spend. And it became true for me. So it's something that I've been working on actively for the past 3 years and just trying to turn that around into an abundant mindset. And wild how much things change once you just stop believing things that you think you should think.
Yeah. And money seems to be, that is a difficult one for people. So what have you done to start to shift that mindset?
One of the best I did, well, everybody should get on a financial plan of one type of another, but personally, reading my and getting things I wanted that I had worked for and actually getting them instead of just being like, oh no, I can't afford it, or I'll just get it another time, or I'll wait until my next paycheck, or I'll wait until the holidays, et cetera, et cetera. I've realized that when you just follow your heart and you treat yourself kindly and you have this abundant mindset of, I can get it now, you'll never be short of money. Like, it's never going to affect you. I've noticed that before, whenever I didn't make any purchases, I would still end up broke, you know. So now when I actually treat myself to things, it's almost like there's just more coming. Like my bank account doesn't even feel it. So, because I don't have that negative emotion attached to it.
Yeah, that says a lot. That, you know, and I think that there is so much, you know, we talk about poverty and the cycle of poverty, you know, people who grow up and who have not had much, they have not seen that there are other opportunities out there. They get very hungry sometimes and they go for it, and they don't even see that poverty anymore. They see abundance. And I think that that's exactly what you're talking about, is when you look at that and you know that the money is there, it is out there in the universe. And the question is how do you draw it into your life? How do you open that funnel and bring it to you? And I love what you're saying, Yara. Now your profile says you're an educator and a hairstylist and a salon owner. So tell me a little bit about, you know, when you are as a leader in your business, when you are working with the employees within your salon, how are you spreading that mindset with them as well to get them to bring new clients through the door?
Oh, that's such a good question, Sean. And I have been in the beauty industry for over 12 years. As an employee for most of those years, but about 3 years ago, I opened up my own salon with no idea what I was doing. $5,000 loan from my father, and that was it. That's all I had to build the entire salon, get product, and get started. Originally, I never even thought about having employees, but now that I do, one of the great things that I do is I try to add incentives. So not just like money wise, but also career wise. So we all get raises according to demand. And there's like a formula that we follow depending on how booked the stylist is and how many referrals they're receiving per month. They know that once they reach that point, there will be a raise at the end of it, a monetary raise, financial raise of money. So that keeps them really motivated. It keeps them very engaged, makes them feel like they're working towards something. Most of my stylists are commission based, but I also have employees. And same thing with my employees. You know, I just always really put that incentive as in the more we work as a team, the better you get, the better we get, the more money you make, the more money I make. And something that we really didn't do. My connection is poor. I hope you guys can hear me. But for many years, you know, it felt like shameful to talk about money. And I think that may still be a thing in the beauty industry, but something that's changing. And I think the more we talk about it, the more we get comfortable with it, the more we embrace that it is okay to make money. It is okay to charge more. It is okay to scale. Then the better, you know, that message gets spread around.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was hoping to hear from you. That's amazing. I love it. And thank you for sharing that. I'm going to invite you to stay here on the stage. We do these rooms for 30 minutes, and so it goes very quickly. But what I like, normally I'll send people back into the audience once they've, you know, given their share. But in a short room like this, it's kind of nice because we can get as many people up here to give shares, and then we can all have kind of a closing thought as we close out the room here in a little bit. So I have invited a few of you up to the stage. Please feel free, if you got an invitation from me, to know that you are welcome to come up here. And also, I'm looking through profiles. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook, you've probably seen me looking through profiles. And if I don't see anything listed in your profile, unfortunately, I'm not able to invite you up. So I would love to invite you up. Make sure you get something there in your profile. And by the way, I see somebody in the followed by speakers section who is a salon owner as well. I have a feeling you two might know each other, or at least have connected on here. So with that being said, let's talk about this idea of self-limiting beliefs. And I think Yara took it to a great place, because a lot of us start right there with this financial belief that we don't have the money available to us. We don't have access to the resources. We don't have whatever. And so therefore we start making decisions. And I shouldn't even say start. We are making decisions at that point that are based off of what our belief is. And that's kind of the secret to this self-limiting belief. When I believe something can't happen or can happen, then I start to look around myself for things that will validate that belief. I want you to think about that for a minute. When I believe something, I start looking around for the things to validate that belief, because I want to be right. I want to know that I know myself. So if I believe that I'm not smart enough, or I'm not skilled enough, or I'm not educated enough to do something, then I will look for that in everything. This is where we talk about two people who can see or experience the exact same thing and yet walk away with two completely different perspectives. One can see it as an opportunity, and the other can see it as the end of the world as they know it. What is your self-limiting belief, or what is your unlimiting belief? What power do you give yourself? Because what I challenge you to do today, and by coming to this room, I believe that every single one of you want to do this. I challenge you to start looking at things that will positively improve your belief system. Yara, go ahead. You opened up your mic there.
I didn't even mean to do that. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
But I would love to give some input into the conversation, because it is so true that, whatever you think becomes a reality. And we can do that in a negative way with like limiting beliefs, but then you said unlimited beliefs, which I've never heard that phrase before, but I'm writing it down right now, because it is so true. Like what we believe we will find more of. And I am actually a spinal cord injury survivor. So I am paralyzed from the waist down, and I'm still a hairstylist and a salon owner and an educator. And that happened 2 years ago. And it was extremely life-changing, as you can imagine. And I went through my waves in period of time of like depression and acceptance and grief, as you would, when a big life event changes everything around you like that. But one day I decided, okay, well, this has to change, right? Like I need to get on with my life. And it was really hard. And I would do this thing where I would like force myself out of bed, get on my wheelchair, sit in front of the mirror, look at myself, and then just begin giving myself some love, like positive affirmations, even though I didn't believe them at the time, because it was really shocking for me to see myself in this new physical form. I just started speaking what I knew I wanted my reality to be. So I would tell myself, you're talented, you're loved, you're gifted, you're blah, 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 blah. And eventually that became an unlimiting belief. And now it's like unstoppable. I mean, now it's been 2.5 years, and if you ask me, is there anything that you can't do? I probably would say no, because I'm really sure that I can do anything I set my mind to.
Absolutely. And what is impressive about that is that we have the resilience built into us if we choose to follow it. And I think that listening to your story, I love the fact that you don't identify. That is not your identity. That is not who you are. It's a part of who you are. It's a part of, who you are, but it does not define you. And I love that you have taken that and propelled yourself forward with it. That's an amazing thing. And by the way, Yara, just so you know, as we're broadcasting here over on Facebook and LinkedIn, people can see my Clubhouse screen, and I just brought up your Instagram for them to take a look at. And I encourage anyone in our Clubhouse audience as well, take a look at that. you've got some amazing photos there as well. And so I think it's just really good. And I love to share this community and share the good people that are on it. And it looks like you're in Key Largo, Florida. So next time I'm in Florida, maybe you can do something with this mess of hair I have on my head.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. I actually have to run right now, but it was lovely speaking with all of you. And thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome, Yara. Thank you so much for joining us. And welcome to Kate. Oh, she just popped in and popped out. It was good to see her in there for a split second. So as we were talking, and I think Yara is just a fantastic example of exactly what we're talking about. I want to take that a little bit further. But before I do, I want to remind you that this is about you. So please click on that hand raising icon down at the bottom. Raise your hand and come up here, just like Yara did, and share something that you have overcome, some self-limiting belief that you have overcome. Or feel free to share something that you're struggling with right now. And we can talk through it. We can certainly encourage you. That's what this is about. So I talked a few minutes ago when Yara was up here about this idea that what we believe, we then take and look for in the world ways to validate that belief. I'm not smart enough. So the next time that I get in a situation where I'm having a difficulty or a struggle, the first thing I go to is I'm not smart enough. How do I know I'm not smart enough? Because I didn't know the answer to that question that I was asked, and therefore I didn't get the opportunity that I wanted. That validates my belief system. Now here's the third part of that equation. Then I begin to make decisions and actions based on that validation. Think about that for a minute. Because when that happens, that is when we start to see the self-fulfilling prophecy. And that is detrimental to who we are as people. So that's something I want you to think about and to really start to focus on. So number one, what do I believe? Number two, I'm going to set my mind to find positive beliefs so that I can validate those everywhere. And number three, I'm going to take action on those positive beliefs that I find. But this takes a mindset. This takes the opportunity rather than the discouragement. So when something bad happens, you have to ask yourself, is this an opportunity for growth, for something? Or is this setting me down a bad path in my life? You have the choice. You can make a decision as to what that self-limiting belief is going to be. Now, the second thing Yara had pointed out when she was here, I loved having her up because she brought up the financial side of it. This abundance versus famine or poverty mentality. When we are in that space, and I want to tell you, if you're a business owner, you have probably struggled with this. When we are in that space, the next client needs to walk through the door because we have bills to pay. It can be very, very difficult to make balanced, well thought out decisions because we start making decisions, or our inclination is to start making decisions that are based on how to get the next client through the door, not necessarily what long-term success will be like. And that is where we have to surround ourselves with people who are like us, who think like us, who understand the issues that we are going through. Now, I've had a few people raise their hand, and as soon as I get to them, they've disappeared on me. So if you've raised your hand, please go ahead and raise your hand again. And here in just a minute or two, I'm going to be closing the hand raising because we're going to wrap up this room in about 10 minutes. So I would love for you to share. If you have something to share, please bring your value. This is not all about me, but I am certainly happy to share what I know and what I have learned as we go forward. So self-limiting beliefs then, of course. Oh, hey, Sin.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You jumped up here on stage. I was glad to see you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I express my gratitude. So one of the things that you said that, I struggle with is making decisions from a place of deficit and desperation. Um, like I think that's like really amazing that you said that, because that's something that I am going to try not to do in the future. And that's what, I'm a Christian. So that's what God revealed to me. Like, don't make decisions. If you believe who I am and who I say I am, why are you making decisions based on, what you have more so than what I have? And you're making decisions based on, based in desperation and deficit. So, I think that's amazing that you said that, and I really, because that's something that I'm dealing with, and I think I'm done.
Excellent. Thank you for the share, Sen. I know that's, from the onset of my entrepreneurship in 2009, I always, think back to what brought me into this space. Number one, I had a desire to be an entrepreneur, but number two, I was tired of other people controlling my fate. And what that means specifically, working for an employer who could at any moment decide that my job was no longer needed. Something, happens with funding at a nonprofit I worked at, and I wasn't needed, or they couldn't pay me. And so, there were those times early on, especially where, there was working from this, I like deficit. Deficit's a good word. There was a deficit mindset, and I had to get something to happen. But what was really valuable was being able to reel it back in. And this is a good phrase. I heard this, to think about what you do today, or I'm sorry, what you're doing today is the result of what you did 6 months ago. So thinking more long term, thinking about what are we putting in today that may not reap the benefits immediately tomorrow. We may not see the direct result in our bank account tomorrow, but in 6 months, if we keep this consistency up, if we keep doing what we're doing, it will pay off. And so it's very important, I think, to focus on things like that as we go through some of those processes and those pieces of being entrepreneurs, because times will be difficult. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close hand raising. Actually, I'll give you another 30 seconds here, because I always find that sometimes there's somebody that's just been waiting for the right moment to raise their hand, and they just need to know that it's about to end, and then they'll raise their hand. So I'm going to give you just about 20 more seconds to raise your hand, and then we'll go into the final closing remarks here. Sen, I'm going to hold you up on the stage, because I would love to get a comment from you here in just a second as I close out the hand raising. And thanks everybody for participating in this. These 30-minute rooms, again, are designed for all of us to help one another. Oh, I've got a last minute. Come on up, Shane.
Howdy, Sean. Howdy.
There you are. I literally was about to hit the off button on the hand raising when you came up. So you just made it, my friend. What are your thoughts on this subject? I always love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you being consistent. I don't always make it to your rooms and to the things that you do, but when I do, I'm glad that I'm there. And I'm glad that you're a consistent thing in a lot of people's feeds and in their life. So I appreciate that. I think one of the things that I keep thinking about, especially recently, because like starting a new business and going through all of the fear and uncertainty and the imposter syndrome and everything else that comes with that. I keep thinking about this very central premise in psychology. It's a very simplified way that the mind works. There's this A and B. Body wants to maintain homeostasis. It wants to be at baseline. On the A side, you're excited, you're happy, things are going well. On the B side, you're feeling tortured and you're feeling bad. You may even be feeling depressed. And the body wants to maintain homeostasis, but the only way to move that homeostasis toward positive is to really, really try to really be aware of when you're on that A side and really focusing on it. Like, what happened? How did it get here? How do you stay there? What are the tools that you can use to be that on that A side? And as you spend more time on that A side, it pulls that line, that homeostasis, it pulls it up. And so whenever I'm thinking about like beliefs that are keeping me down or keeping me from things, I try to refer back to that A side. What were those days what were those moments where something was really great? What were the things that I did to get there, and how did I stay there? And that's something I just keep coming back to whenever I think about self-limiting beliefs.
That's good. And we talk about things like that when it comes to, even going back to like job interviews and things like that, when you are about to face a situation, maybe it's, a new client or a bigger client than you've worked with before, whatever the situation, it's pulling back in and building that confidence back up by recalling. And I have encouraged people throughout the years to close your eyes, before you walk in that room, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just bring back that, whatever that one moment was that for you is just success filled, that brings you into that state of just euphoria and I've got this, and feeling strong and feeling confident. And I think that is so, I love the way you stated that. And of course you always, you bring such a good flair for, how to look at this from a psychology perspective whenever you speak. So I'm going to throw a thought out here to both Sen and M as you're on the stage. And this will just kind of be our kind of parting thought as we go for the day. If you can really just think about one instance in your life when you found that you overcame that self-limiting belief. Maybe it was, a meeting that you had to walk into and just power through and make it happen. What's one strategy, and Shane, I'm sorry, Em, you just pulled that out. What's one strategy that you utilized to get through that and to overcome that belief? And I'll even let you off the hook, Em, if you say that was my big one, because that was pretty significant. But if you've got something else, I'd love to hear it as well. Sen, we'll start with you.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a big question. So one thing that I overcame, and I'm gonna try to make it short as possible because it's a lot of moving parts, was the idea. It doesn't have to do with entrepreneurship, but I see that it kind of does, because it's changing my mindset. One of the things that I had to do is break the the thinking of how my mother thought. What we call it is breaking generational curses, and I did that by changing my thinking. Especially after I had my children, I just noticed that it was some things in my life that I didn't want to think this way. I didn't want them to have to go through the same thing that I went through. I went through postpartum depression and a lot of stuff like that. So I had to kind of build myself back up, if you will, and actually reconstruct who I was, because now I was a mother, right? So I just, all these things that I put down in myself, like I wasn't worthy enough to be loved. I wasn't worthy enough to date this type of man. I wasn't worthy enough to make this type of money. I wasn't worthy. I was only limited to make this type of money. I had to reconstruct myself um, and get the mindset that I was worthy of everything good and everything that I really, really wanted in life, and my visions and the possibilities that God put down in me, and my purpose. Like, I was worthy enough to fulfill my purpose in life. And I honestly did that. I honestly did that by um, going to God and just being like what am I doing? Because this is not working for me. So that's something personally that I did, and it worked for me. It worked for me, and now I'm, a lot of people say in my life, they recognize, like, you're so much happier, because sometimes I didn't answer the phone for you when you were in that state of just it was really dark. So they're like, you're so much happier. I love being around you. And my friends make fun of me because of my spirituality and my beliefs, but also they can appreciate me because of the light that I bring. So sorry.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Sen, you may have dropped out there. I lost your voice.
Okay. I'm sorry for being long winded, but that's honestly yeah, that's what I've changed about myself.
That's awesome. And I think leaning into your faith is, there's so much to be said for that. So thank you for that share. And M, you get the final word today.
Oh, well, I accept. I mean, following up with what Sen just said, those are powerful things, and I'll try to trail off onto that, well, very well said, very well put together. One of the things that I try to think about on a consistent basis as well, when it comes to very, very much in line with what Sen's thinking is that, you know, our parents and our family and those around us they're our teachers. You know, they show us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. But it doesn't mean they're always right. And knowing that, you know, we all do deserve to do what it is that we want to do or how we want to do things. We all deserve the right to try to do those things. And one of the ways that I push through that is, you know, I'm from the Midwest, so I am innately humble, right? I am not supposed to tell people about amazing things that I do. I am not supposed to tell others about the amazing things that my friends are doing, you know, and I'm not supposed to do those things. But what I try to do is at least every once in a while, you know, at least allow myself to be proud of who I am and the things I've accomplished. And it's still, you know, it's still a hard battle to find that way to communicate, you know, what you've done or what people you know have done, and let the world know or what they're going to do, and supporting those people with where they're going to go and what they're going to do. Like, humbleness is great, but you've got to let people know who you are, and you've also got to let people know who others are.
Wow. That's why I love these rooms. I want to thank you all for coming up to the stage. Yara, I know she's not here anymore, but we had a great conversation with her, and just amazing stuff. All right, my friends, that is it. 30 minutes have come and gone so quickly, but thank you so much for joining me. We will be here again tomorrow, doing another 30-minute room with another topic. Again, all designed to help you grow and thrive and become the best you that you can possibly be. With that being said, my name is Sean P. Neal. I am so glad you joined me today. You are in the What It Takes to Run a $1 Million Biz Club. Special thanks to Kate and Dan. Kate did a very quick pop in. We didn't even get to say hi to her, but she was there. Please feel free to follow the club if you like rooms like this that are dedicated to your growth as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Click on that little green icon up there, that little Monopoly house, and join the club so that you can get notified when all of the moderators create wonderful rooms just like this for you. Last but not least, anybody on the stage, anybody in the audience, I want you to feel free to look around the profiles, connect with somebody, hit that follow button if you see that something in their profile resonates with you. And if you want to take it a step farther, reach out to them eventually. Let them know that you would like to have a conversation outside of Clubhouse. Maybe you can reach out to them on Instagram. That's how a lot of us connect in here. There's a little icon down there that looks like a paper airplane, and that is to message people within the app. So you can click on that and message them as well. I'm going to leave the room open for about another 20 seconds while you network and follow some people. And until we meet again, my friends, be good, do great things, love one another, and spread peace. Thanks everybody for joining me.